Hey guys, Will Melton here from Exponent 21. If you're running a PPC ad campaign for your business and you're not quite getting the ROI that you're looking for, it's not likely that the PPC campaign isn't right for your business. It's just likely that the equation isn't adding up. With all things digital marketing, there is very much a math problem to be solved. How much can I spend for my clicks? How many of those clicks do I turn into lead opportunities? How many of those lead opportunities do I close? How much money do I earn for those leads? All these things have to be considered, and you have control over the success of your ad campaign, and there are a lot of variables that go into that. So today, what I'd like to do is show you how the Exponent 21 PPC Budget Calculator can help you determine what those numbers need to be so you know how much you need to spend, how much you need to convert, and how much you need to close, and at how much in order to actually generate a profitable campaign. So let's get right into it. So first and foremost, you have to determine what the cost per click is for your industry. So what we've done is we've gone and grabbed some data from WordStream. Thank you so much, WordStream, for this data. These are average cost per click numbers for a variety of different industries, and we're just going to pick one so that we can demonstrate this for you guys. We're going to use automotive repair, service, and parts with an average cost per click of $3.39. Now, the visitor conversion rate is not something that you necessarily would know unless you have really great metrics and you've established what a conversion looks like in your analytics platform. What I can show you is that most businesses, most websites generate about a 1% to 2% return if they're really not doing a lot to optimize that website and make it a really great experience for customers. At the same time, businesses that have done a little bit more to invest in their content and invest in their user experience and are a little bit more successful at turning those visitors into customers, 5% is a decent number to use. And so if we're thinking about healthy campaigns, we're going to start there for this particular scenario. The other thing that we need to consider is, how many leads can we deal with a month? And what I mean by that is when it comes to actually making money, how many people can we talk to, quote, and close and generate that revenue in a given month with the capacity that we have with our staff, with all the resources that we have to deploy. So for this particular scenario, we're just going to use 20 as our number. Keep in mind that this is in addition to the volume of business that you're already processing, because this is all net new business when you spend on your ad campaign. So based on the metrics that we've already typed in here, which are your conversion rate, your cost per click, and your lead capacity, we need to get 20 leads in order to be successful. That's how many we can handle. It's going to cost us $67.80 per lead to be able to get there. So our total budget to be able to generate that, just based on these early metrics, is $1,356. So that's a baseline understanding. Now that's assuming that you're managing your campaign yourself. So what I want to do is dive in and show you what it would look like if you were paying somebody else to manage it for you. I'm going to use 25% for this. That's how much our agency charges for ad campaigns. We do generate high conversion rates for our clients, and this is certainly worth it if you have an agency that does a great job at delivering results. But we're going to use that as a benchmark just to give you a sense for what you might expect to spend. So this factors based on that budget what our total management fee would be, and here's our ad budget with management fee combined with that at $1,695. Now, what we can do here is say, all right, well, based on this information, am I actually going to make any money on my ad spend here? So what we're going to do is I'll go ahead and say, yes, let's go ahead and calculate my returns. And what we want to do here is say, okay, well, what percentage of the leads that come into your business are you actually closing? Now, it's going to be different from referrals, which are warm leads that somebody said, hey, go use these folks, versus somebody who comes in from the internet. Some people are kicking tires, some people are price shopping. There's a lot of things that we need to consider, but be mindful of that and just know how many of the people that call your business or fill out a web form are saying yes to your quote and moving forward. I think a healthy number for most businesses is about 60%, so we're going to use that for this particular scenario. And the other thing that we want to do to be able to establish what the return on ad spend is put in a number of revenue that we're going to generate for each customer. Now, there's different ways that you can look at this. You can plug in profit per customer if you want to factor it that way. You can factor the total revenue per customer per year. You can look at customer lifetime value. So there's a few different ways that you could plug this in. Just keep in mind what you do key in there and do the math accordingly. So what we're going to do is just revenue per customer acquired, and I'm going to put $350 in here for this particular scenario. A lot of automotive service repairs are probably going to exceed that, but you're going to have some lower priced service clients as well. So our total return on ad spend based on all of this, if we were to generate $350 for 60% of the leads that we had come in, is total return on ad spend of $2,500. Now, if we want to find out what the profit is, we can check this box here, and we can plug in what our profit margin is. So we've got to pay for staff, we've got to keep the lights on, we have insurance costs, there's lots of other things that we need to take into consideration. But just again, for the argument of this particular scenario, I'm going to plug in 50%. So we now have 50% of our total return coming to us at a profit of $405. So this isn't a significant return. All things considered, $405 new in a given month is not necessarily going to be very impactful for a business. So what we need to consider in this particular scenario, and what you're going to have to consider for your business in every one of these scenarios, is what is a healthy mix? Do we need to be able to process more leads in a month in order to be able to generate a higher return? Do we need to increase our staff to be able to do that? What are the other factors that are driving that? So if I increase the lead capacity here to 40, which is double the total amount, I'm going to expect to spend more at $2,700. But if I keep everything else the same and I scroll down here to the bottom, you can see where we're now generating $810. Now, what would happen if we start to affect some of these other things? If I can improve my profit margins and say we're actually making 60% of our total back in returns, then you're starting to see how those percentages really tick those numbers up. I'll go back up here and we'll take another look at another number that you control, which is your lead to customer conversion rate. There's a couple of things that control this, and certainly the quality of the traffic that comes in from your ad campaigns and any other source is going to be a factor, but you have direct control over what happens on those calls and how you respond to people, how quickly you respond to people. All that's going to factor into who they hire at the end of the day. So if you can increase your close rate, your conversion rate to customers, then you're going to also drive more profit into your business. Now, all things considered, keep in mind that there are many factors that are going to come into play here. Perhaps we are working with high-end cars or something that is anticipated to generate more revenue. We can plug those numbers in here and start to see where the actual profit, the money that we net at the end of all of it, is significant when you do the math properly. And again, keep in mind that the actual investment here to be able to generate that profit is less. So the more we increase these numbers, the more we increase the flow from this particular scenario, the better we're going to be. And then, of course, as we work harder to make a campaign more successful, we're going to start to see that perhaps our other numbers are going to improve as well. So one of the biggest factors that we see improvement in is when we improve the conversion rate from a website, because we're making the information rich, we're making the design rich, we're making the experience rich for customers, and more people who come into that website end up becoming a customer of the business. So I'm going to increase this to 10. That's double the conversion rate, which is pretty significant. And I'm going to come back down here and just show you what that means for the profit number. We now have $6,700 in profit from that, and your investment, your total return on ad spend is $12,000. So again, play with these numbers, see how it works for your business. Use different CPCs as another factor that you can change here. You might have a better understanding of what your ad campaign is already averaging out at. But certainly get a good sense for this, and just know that if your campaign's underperforming, it's just a matter of getting the math right. Thanks so much for tuning in with us today, and we look forward to seeing you next time.